How you doing, YouTube? Matt Massa Beer Reviews. I'm back with a little bit of mystery beer. Hopefully delicious mystery beer, courtesy of my boy Max from Connecticut. 2X Max. He sent off a sneaky box of beers the other day. By that I mean I didn't know it was actually coming. Shows up at my house. We do mystery beers. Well, we do all the beers because he sent all the beers. You can go watch the unboxing. It's an epic box full of all kinds of fun stuff. What is this beer? Bock. Double Bock? Black IPA, Marzen, Porter. I think it's more like I think it's a lager beer. Two Fingers, Infinite Creamy Head. I just get Bock vibes off of it. It's very dark. It might be somebody's kind of export stout or something. It's not super high in ABV from a distance. The only way this is high in ABV is if it's a barley wine, but barley wines don't get heads like that. So, yeah, Porter, low ABV stout, Double Bock, maybe a Schwarz beer, but it's too brown for that. So yeah, looks the part of a low ABV malt forward beer. Let's put it that way. So it looks absolutely pretty. It's good nose. What is that? There's a brown sugar component to this. And there's something additional to the brown sugar component. So I'm getting brown sugar. I am getting... There's not a spice to it, but the maltiness has something a little extra going on. It's a little bit of brown sugar, a little bit of sweetness. It's not a big kind of bready kind of component to it, so I don't know if it's a Double Bock. It's maybe somebody's like, I was going to say somebody's like crazy double Marzen kind of thing going on, but I don't know if it's a lager. It might just be a porter. I kind of still want to go Bock, though. I don't know. This is very confusing. It's a malt forward beer, basically what I said from looks. There's an extra sweet component to it, for me, that comes off like a brown sugar added. So it could be something like brown sugar. It could be... Ooh. Let's go there for a second. Is this a Belgian double? Or a Belgian... Yeah, Belgian double? Because I can see that brown sugar being like a candy Belgian component, but it's not really a big Belgian kind of yeast ester to it. There is a little bit of fruitiness to it. There is the slightest bit of subtly breadiness to it. Yeah. I don't know. Let's just dive in. Cheers. This is delicious. I have no idea what this is. I have no clue. I'm going to drink this for a hot minute, and then we'll spit it out. I don't think it's because I suck. I usually do suck at these, but I think it's just really, I'm just having a hard time kind of nailing it down. I mean, it's obviously a not super high ABV, but very malty beer. And I know that's kind of like contradictory a little bit, but I think it's not that big. I think you're talking about 6.5 to 7.2%. I'm really trying to figure out if it's an ale or lager. I think it's a lager. Then you think about lager, you're like, what kind of lager is it? Because there's something else in there besides base malt. I said it was a brown sugar and a nose, and the taste I get even more confused. It doesn't get as far as like a blackstrap molasses, although it could be that. I'm really talking myself out of a lot of different things here. The reason why I said it could be that, so I'm getting a kind of caramelly, not caramelly, brown sugar type sweetness, but there's a spicy component on it. So is that the molasses? Or is it like a rye Bock? Like a rye malted lager Bock? Because that's something somebody would do. That's some Fox Farm shit right there, actually. So it could actually be one of those beers. Yeah, I might be talking myself into a little bit of rye element in this beer. It's almost... I'm throwing every beer on this one out there. It's almost like a winter... Somebody's weird version of a winter warmer in the way the spices come off. It's not like a gingerbready thing or an allspice thing. Definitely not allspice. I'm allergic to it, so I'd know if it was allspice. But there is some additional spice to it. It's got to be rye. So, what are we dealing with here? There's a little bit of bittering to it. There's a decent sweetness to it. I think it's somebody's rye Bock. I think it's a rye Bock. Not double Bock, just a rye Bock. So I think, man, I'm going to be so wrong on this. So it's got the herbal, tannic, tea-like vibe in conjunction with this spiciness that for me, has to be rye. It's drinks so crisp and clean. That's why I'm going with the lager portion of the show. Like, I mean, I didn't really get it on the nose. I'm not really getting kind of yeasty esters of lageriness, but there's just such cleanliness to this beer. I want to call it a lager. I'm going to call it a lager. And the only way this doesn't have rye in it, and this is my kind of get out of jail free card if I'm wrong, is there some kind of odd adjunct in it. And by that I mean like a root or something, some kind of like herbal-esque, herbal, spicy kind of addition to it. That's the only way it's not rye, because rarely do I have rye beers come off with this touch a little medicinal, which this does have. So I'm going to skip, you know what? We're going to ditch the rye. We're going to go, this is somebody's 6.8% lager, it's a Bock, but it has some kind of spice added to it that's not like a traditional kind of cooking spice. It's more of like a kind of herbal, medicinal kind of root kind of thing, like cassia bark, that kind of thing going on. Even though cassia bark's kind of like cinnamon stuff, it's kind of like has that thing going on for it. Yeah, I love it. It's interesting as fuck. Thank you very much, Max, for setting this up. Probably one of the more fun mystery beers I've had in quite some time, because I don't know what the hell it is. That kind of makes me all hot and bothered. So yeah, let's see what's what. Let's actually open this up. Give it a little pour. I want to drink some more of this sucker. Do we have pull tabs? No. But we'll make do. We'll make do. So yeah. So I like it quite a bit. It's 6 point, like I said, 6.8%. Some lagered, dark, Bocky kind of beer. Von Trapp Maple Rausch beer. Okay. It's a maple Rausch beer. I don't get this huge smoky characteristic off of it, though. Our maple Rausch beer is a tribute to the liquid gold created every spring in Von Trapp Brewery Sugar House. A touch of Rausch malt is used to create the base layer of subtle smoke, and a blend of Munich and Carafa malts give this lager its deep hue and body, balanced with noble hops. The maple rounds out this lager perfectly. Yeah, I mean, the lager portion of the show, it's an American Rausch beer. I get notes. There you go. 6.2%, so I was a 0.5% off. Not once did I ever think this is a Rausch beer. That makes sense, that kind of spiciness that I couldn't really peg, but I don't really get any kind of Rausch beer kind of vibes off of this. It's more of some kind of that medicinal spiciness like I was talking about. Now, that maple syrup, again, it's not super mapley. That was that brown sugar component that I was getting, so I have no problem with that. I'm 0.5% off on ABV. It's just that Rausch beer malt thing. That's what I took for a little bit of like an herbally thing, or that rye thing I was trying to get into. This is a very fun beer and a very tasty beer. I mean, regardless of it being a Rausch beer, an American Rausch beer, whatever kind of beer you want to call it, it's Von Trapp. It's very tasty. It's super drinkable. I would like to get a bunch of this. That's how much I dig it. What else? We got a date on here, 8/10, so it's a month and a half old. Yeah, a little Austria, a lot of Vermont. Yeah, I dig this. And you know, that's no fucking surprise here. It's fucking Von Trapp. I love the brewery. I love going to the brewery. I love drinking their beers. Their food is pretty damn good too. So, I mean, this is the kind of stuff that I dig. Listen, Max knows me. He knows the kind of beers I dig. So when he sends beers off to me, even if they are mystery beers, more times than not, he's going to send stuff he knows I like. This is no different. It's just and again, some people view that as a kind of a pretentious thing. And I'm trying to kind of find a balance between whether I'm right or wrong or indifferent. I'm not saying I was right on this beer. I obviously didn't call it a Rausch beer, so it wasn't correct. But I don't think this is an overtly smoky beer. So what I want from you guys is, if you've had this beer, tell me if you thought this is a really smoky kind of Rausch beer. I would never have pegged this as Rausch beer. Never. I mean, there was that bit and piece, that small little component that was spicy, kind of herbally kind of thing. That is that in combination with hops, I assume, but it never came off as smoky for me. Maybe that maple syrup canceled it out a little bit, added a little bit of sweetness, kind of tempered that kind of smokiness. But yeah, let me know if you had this one. Let me know what you think about it, whether I'm right or wrong. Rather than me saying whether I'm right and wrong, you guys let me know if I'm right or wrong, because it's one of those things where a brewery can call it every kind of flavor profile in the world they want on a can. Doesn't necessarily mean it's there. More often than not, these really well done breweries are going to do more right than wrong. But some put stuff on the labels and it's just not there. So I'm kind of curious what do you guys think. Let me know. I should say that for every mystery beer, to be honest with you. Is it one of the better Rosh beers I've had as of late? It would kind of no, because it's not one of those beers. It's one of the more interesting beers. Let's go in that vein. Yes, I love it. I dig it. It's fun. It's lager. Yes. What do you want? Value and availability. It's Von Trapp. I get a lot of their stuff in around my area. I have not seen this, so I'm not quite sure if this is going to get down this way. And leave you with, if you like what we like this beer. If you like maple beers that aren't super mapley, if you like that brown sugar component, and then you like that kind of rich maltiness that has a spiciness to it. Again, I wouldn't call this Rush beer, so I wouldn't say that. But if you like malt forward beers that are lagered, that have an interesting kind of additional kind of adjunct to it, that kind of makes it a little bit spicy, this will work for you. So there we go. Another review in the books. Thank you very much again, Max, for sending us off. Mystery beers, the only way we can do them is through you dudes, so, and ladies, and anybody in between. Yeah. If you ever feel like reaching out, you're more than welcome. mattmassivebeers.com or massivebeers@gmail.com. You reach me at those two email addresses. If you want to check me out doing the social media stuff, you check me out at Massive Beers. Type that in Google. See me doing the whole pictures and talking things. And then podcasting-wise, I have not done Von Trapp. That would be a nice one to do. Maybe once this whole pandemic kind of clears, I'll get them on the horn and we'll sit down and do a podcast. But if you'd like to see some of their older stuff, there is a wide catalog of stuff from when I did my podcast on solo to before when I did the radio show. So everybody from Treehouse to Trillium and everybody in between. That's a small distance. But you know what I'm talking about. Go check that out. And hopefully you guys enjoyed the review. Hopefully you're enjoying a little bit of Von Trapp right now. Or mystery beers. Hopefully see you next time. Cheers.